everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sabrina. I make videos once a week, and if you aren't already subscribed, go press that subscribe button because a lot more videos are coming up. Also, if you'd like, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I post there on a regular basis. So today I am launching a new series on my channel that is so close to my heart and that I am so passionate about. So happy to be launching a How I Started My Business series, and in this series I plan on talking about all the aspects of my business, whether that's how I started with almost no money, how I marketed my business, and how I got influencers with millions of followers to promote my business on their platforms for free. A whole bunch of other tips and tricks that I would have loved to have discovered before starting my business. Today is the first episode of this whole business series. In today's episode, I'm basically going to be covering all the basics. So if you guys are interested to learn about how I started my own business, just keep watching the video. So just a little FYI, I started my business at the age of 16 years old, which is crazy. I was graduating high school. I had a part-time job that paid minimum wage. I was basically making like $12 an hour. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be starting with is how I started my business, how I got the idea. How did I just wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to start a clothing brand? So basically it started that I had seen a few YouTubers starting to sell their own merch, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, like they get to design their own hoodies. Back in the day, I was really in love with drawing. I was an artist, so I was like, that's so cool, like how they can like print whatever they want on a hoodie and like wear it. It kind of piqued my curiosity. Then I had talked to my mom about the project, and during that time my mom was having a lot of health issues. She was battling cancer and she had just gotten a huge operation to remove the cancer, so it was a tough time for my family. I will forever remember this day, and I feel like that's what really gave me like the motivation, the kick to just go and do this project, because my whole body was so scared of doing it. I remember she had just woken up from her operation, and I had talked to her about YouTubers selling merch and how I love that project, and she looked at me and she's like, Sabrina, you're really gonna start this. You want to start a clothing brand, you want to print your designs on clothing, you can do it, and you are gonna do it. And I think she learned so much through her battle that she was just like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit anymore. If you want to do something in life, just do it. We never know what tomorrow is gonna be. So she was really on board with it, and that's when I started committing to the project. And the first thing you really want to do when you start a brand or any project is, what is the concept behind that project? So for a clothing brand, obviously I had to find a name for the brand, and I went with the name The One and Only Shop. The reason why I went with that name is because, first off, I am a only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters, so one and only really resonated with me. And it wasn't just the fact that I was an only child. I feel like one and only is a very powerful word to me. I feel like on this earth we don't realize that we are all unique and there is no one exactly like us out there. There might be someone that looks similar to you, but are they gonna have your personality, your character, everything you have? No, we are all unique, different, and one and only. I just stuck with that name. I was like, that is so powerful, and I really stand behind that message, and I want to have that in my brand, like that whole concept, foundation of my concept, One and Only Shop. And then I was like, I want to make clothes that stand out, that are unique, and that concept got developed a lot more years after that. I wanted everybody to feel beautiful in my clothing, feel unique, feel like they are special. Especially, that's like the main thing that I really wanted people to resonate with. So then we move on to my first supplier, because I had to get these shirts made and printed on, so I couldn't make it myself. So then I found the supplier, and it was extremely not professional at all. First off, my supplier was in a mall because he would print on hoodies that were already made. So I would basically go there, give him my designs, he would print it on the hoodies, and then I would buy the hoodies from them. But the thing is, the supplier was made for a very different clientele. It wasn't like a manufacturer that would produce for companies. The supplier would supply people that were walking through the mall and wanted to get like a shirt made that said like happy birthday Sabrina or whatever. So it was really not the right manufacturer for my project at all. Since I just jumped into this whole company situation and I didn't really know anything about it at the time. First off, I was really young and my mom had no idea how it worked either. We were new in this whole industry. Didn't really research anything, which I don't recommend. I recommend you research a lot before jumping into a project this big. We just went with it and we got our first hoodies made by this manufacturer in this mall. He made the first batch, which were extremely expensive because I had ordered just a few hoodies. I was so scared that people weren't gonna buy my stuff and weren't gonna like my designs, so I had ordered small quantities and that's why the prices were so high. So I basically made no money with the first batch that I had ordered. And when I sold those first few hoodies and I went back to the store, I had realized that in his store, remember that I said that I wanted to start my clothing brand because YouTubers were starting to make merch and that kind of inspired me. So when I went back to the store to get my second batch, I had realized that this guy had YouTubers merch in his store, but it wasn't the actual merch. He was basically copying these people's merch to sell it at a lower price. And I was like, oh my god, that scared me to death because I was like, is he gonna take my designs and start like copying it, putting it in his store? And at that time I wasn't copywriting my designs, I wasn't copywriting my drawings and all that, and I was so scared that he was gonna steal my designs. So I told my mom, we can't work here anymore. This guy, I do not trust him, and I do not want to move forward with this manufacturer that is not legit at all. Then my mom was like, okay. That brings us to the fourth part of this video, which is my parents' investment. Thank God, and I am so grateful for this. My parents support me in all my projects and they really believed in my concept. They saw how I was so driven and inspired by this whole brand thing that I was like jumping into, and they really saw that I took everything to heart, especially my mom that believed in me since day one. My parents offered me to invest in my company, and that was a really big change for the brand. Especially my parents were ready to invest in my company. They invested thousands of dollars, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are sure? And I was like, is this gonna be worth it? Because at the time I was selling, but I wasn't selling that much. I was mostly selling to friends, relatives, stuff like that. I wasn't selling that much on my website. We want to invest in your company. And I was like, how do you want to invest? And my mom was like, honestly Sabrina, I think it would be worth it to actually buy all the material to make our own shirts. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I did research. My mom had researched this beforehand, before investing in me. She had found that we can basically buy all the machinery to produce our own prints, because we do not make our own clothing at the one and only shop. It's all clothes that we buy already made and then we print and dye. Let me clarify that real quick. She had found the machinery that we needed to print our shirts, to do whatever we wanted on the shirts, basically what our supplier was doing. So I was like, oh my god, mom, the machines are really expensive. It's thousands of dollars. Like I said, I was like, oh my god, that scared me, because I loved the project and it meant a lot to me, but I still didn't have the confidence to say that this is for sure gonna work, and is it really worth it to invest that much? And my mom was like, no, we're gonna do it. So I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So then we invested, we bought all the machinery, and then we became our own suppliers. And this was a huge move for the one and only shop. It changed the whole deal. This brings us to our fifth point, which is I became my own supplier. Said like that seems like it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. Not only did I have to now track my inventory, I had to store my inventory, I had to make sure I had all the material to supply the orders. I wasn't just buying stuff and packing it. I was buying the first materials I needed, making it. I had to get my mom to make all the shirts. We were working to print everything ourselves. Then we had to ship everything ourselves. We were controlling everything besides the part of making the clothes, which is, whoa, it's so much responsibility, so much extra time, crazy. But me and my mom absolutely love doing this part of the one and only shop, like producing our own clothes, because you have control over the quality and you know how things are done, and it's just better. That was a crazy thing. I had to take over a part of my family's house to store all my hoodies, all my shirts, have have the machines there because it's pretty big machines. I basically invaded half of our living room, and it's still half of the living room. So that was a huge deal that we became our own supplier, but it taught us a lot. It's rare that brands do this and print their own stuff, are their own manufacturers in a way. A lot of people look up to my brand because of this. It's a good reason to look up to a brand because we control not only the marketing, the shipping, the customer service, but also a part of the manufacturing of all of our products. So that's crazy. Number 6, since we were our own manufacturer, our costs had dropped drastically. You remember when I told you guys at the beginning that the first supplier that was not legit was charging us so expensive? First off, because I didn't order that many things, and second thing is that he was making the prints, so he had to take a profit for him, pay his own costs, and pay his own time that he was actually working on my clothing. By becoming our own manufacturer, our costs dropped drastically, and that means that I was making more profit than ever. That was amazing because for the first time ever since I had owned my brand, I was really seeing money rolling in, because before I was barely making any money. And that's why when you start a brand, you have to be passionate, and you have to start it not only because you want to make money, but because you actually love doing this and that you are passionate. If you do not have that and you're just here for the money, honey, you are going to have a rough time, because I swear not everything comes firsthand. You have to work. Time will pay off eventually, but it's not always a overnight success. Sometimes it takes years. You have to be in it for the right reasons and be patient and be willing to wait that time. So back to the cost, and that was great because then I could invest in marketing, I can develop new products, have a bigger inventory. That gave me a huge confidence boost because I was like, oh my god, this is actually working, this is actually paying off. Everything was like coming together, and it was just so amazing to see. And this brings us to the last point of this video. I really wanted to keep this video short and sweet, concise. You guys get a glimpse into how I started my brand. This would be like the first episode of my series, and then the other ones would be targeting specific details of my business. So the last point that I want to mention is, and this I feel is the most important point of the video, don't let anyone shame you or make you believe that your project is too far-fetched, or your project is crazy, or you are dreaming. Honey, do not listen to those comments. If you are passionate about something and you love it so much and you are ready to do anything for that project, you can make it work. You know, a lot of people want to start a project and start perfectly, I feel like, and that goes for not only for starting a brand, but like starting YouTube, starting Instagram, starting a blog, blah blah blah. I feel like a lot of people don't want to start because they're scared to start and fail, or start and not be at the top, or not be professional, or not be this or not be that. I always recommend to start. Just start, just go. If you like it, jump into it, and you will learn throughout your journey. If I look back on how I started, I didn't even research anything. I just jumped right into it. We picked the first supplier. It was an adventure. We learned from our mistakes, and look at us now. At least all those mistakes that weren't a big deal, but still were mistakes, I can say I learned from them and I grew from that, and I can now make videos to give advice to others that want to start their own project. You do not have to jump in right away and be a professional or know what you're gonna do or whatever. Just jump in, start, because or else you're never gonna start it, and you're gonna let others get in your head and discourage you. I have a lot of friends that want to start a YouTube channel, and they're like, Sabrina, I don't know how to talk to the camera. Sabrina, my camera's bad. I don't have a camera. I tell them, do you have an iPhone? They're like, yeah, Sabrina, I have an iPhone. Start filming on your iPhone. We don't care. iPhones have such a good resolution, and plus you can film with the front screen. Why wouldn't you start? Like, as long as you have something to say and you love doing it, do it, and you will eventually upgrade. You don't have to be scared of failing or making mistakes or looking not professional. It's just cute, and people are gonna see through that and see that you are trying, and people are actually going to see how much you love doing what you are doing, and that's gonna just shine through, and people are gonna love that. Don't let others get in your head. Just go do it. Do it. I cannot put more emphasis on this. You have something in mind, start it today. Start it tomorrow morning. Start brainstorming writing, planning, drawing, sketching. Just do it. That's pretty much it for my first episode of my, I don't know how I'm gonna call this series yet, business talk. I don't know yet. I really don't know. I'm still, if you guys have like names, leave them down below so I can like brainstorm that and maybe see if I like some. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I'm really excited and so happy to start the series. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I was like, how am I gonna start it? How am I gonna talk to them? How am I gonna divide the episodes? But here I am, just jumping right into it. I'm gonna learn along the way how this whole thing's gonna go. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know many of you had requested it and were waiting for it impatiently, and here it is. So I hope you learned from it, and I hope if you did have a project in mind, this video really pushes you to start it. Go get it. So if you like this video, don't forget to leave it a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to not miss the next episode of my business talk. You guys are not gonna want to miss them. I have so many tips and tricks. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram to see behind the scenes of me working on my brand or just me blogging, go follow me on there. I'll leave it right here for you guys. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.